My name is Nathaniel Massiah. I'm 18 years old and I'm from South London. I'm still in school. I'm in my final year, but I'm also really into lifting weights, powerlifting, bodybuilding, and also sharing that passion with other people through my social media platforms. So I think the journey all started way before I actually stepped foot in the gym. It started, I think, when I was doing gymnastics. So when I was younger, I did a bunch of sports. I did athletics, I did basketball, but I think the sport that I was actually one of the best at was gymnastics. For gymnastics, you have to do a bunch of strength training and things like that, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And from then, you could kind of, see my potential for bodybuilding. I didn't see it at the time, but I remember my gymnastics coach, she used to call me Muscle Man, and I really, I was gassed when she said that. I was like, I don't know, I used to get, it used to make me feel good when she would say that. So, I guess that she could see from then that, maybe I had a little bit of muscle at some point. I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, but I think that's when the seed was actually sown from back then. So it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I really started getting to the gym. I started working out first at home. I had some dumbbells here. There are some probably old videos on my old PC of me, lifting. I used to film myself and stuff like that. I started filming myself from a very young age in terms of with lifting. And then when I eventually got into the gym, I fell in love with it. I started with the deadlifts and everything like that. I remember when I was 13 years old, I did 100 kilos and I was so happy about that. I came home, I told my parents, I probably told my friends, and yeah, like the seeds in terms of powerlifting and 1 rep maxing that was sown from a very, very young age. It's funny because I've pretty much always trained the exact same way. From when I started training, I always had a passion for getting stronger, the compound lifts, but I've also had a passion for getting bigger, building more muscle, being lean and stuff like that. So I've always tried to incorporate both into my training. So when I started, I trained only a couple of days a week because I was going to school as well. And when I was younger, my parents actually said I could only go to the gym 2 days a week because they didn't want it to, interfere with my school in terms of, my grades and things like that. And I think from there, the seed was sown in terms of being able to balance the two, because I had to find a way to be able to use those 2 days to maximize my lifting potential, gain as much strength as possible. So I used to do a bunch of exercises. I used to do maybe like 7, 8, maybe even sometimes 9 exercises in one workout, full body, just to try and get everything in, all the compounds, all the accessories. So from then, I think the discipline aspect was a factor in terms of being able to balance school and the gym, because my parents weren't going to let either of them slip, but I also didn't want to let either of them slip, because I was really competitive with my friends, and we used to compete in everything. We used to compete in sports, we used to compete in lifting weights, and we also used to compete in school in terms of grades. So I credit a lot of my drive to a lot of the things that I'm doing to some of the friends that I had and some of the people that I met in secondary school that pushed me to be better. Because where I want to get to as an athlete is going to take discipline, it's going to take sacrifice, but I know that I'm willing to put in what it takes to get to where I want to go. And I know that continuing to improve myself physically, mentally as an athlete is going to be something that I'm going to thank myself in the future for, and I'm not going to stop until I get to where I need to be.